Hello, this is Abby Duke, and this is my video feedback on Tabitha's paper regarding Elizabeth Warren's stance on the defunding of Planned Parenthood. So first, we'll just go over the terms invective, polemic, and forensic, and kind of what that means in a speech. And then we'll go right into the common topics that were mentioned in Tabitha's paper. And then I also have a couple of common topics that were not mentioned, but I did notice were used in Elizabeth Warren's speech. So first of all, we know that invective speech means that there's an attack or the speaker is attacking someone or a group of someone's. Polemic, this means that in a speech, usually there's a controversial subject at the center of it. Usually there's a negative opinion of a certain group, so whoever's being attacked, it's going to be a negative opinion of them. And then forensic, basically, this just means it's usually used in trials. You're kind of making an argument, and then there's certain aspects of the argument that kind of go into the speech to support your argument. So the very first thing that Tabitha mentions is transcendence. And she says that Elizabeth Warren is basically speaking for the overall greater good of things. And that's the first thing that I noticed about this speech is it's not just about abortion, and it's not just about these people selling fetus tissue. It's about protecting the rights of women and our rights to access health care and make our own decisions about health care. And I certainly agree, and that was the very first thing that I noticed. So she did a good job of describing that and certainly noticing that. And then the first common topic that Tabitha mentions is definition. And Tabitha says that Elizabeth Warren, to help her speech, she kind of describes and defines what Planned Parenthood actually does. They do STD screenings and they do pregnancy tests, and they don't just perform abortions or anything like that. But definition, as far as an invective speech, means that she is defining the actual problem, the actual issue at hand. And as mentioned before, the actual issue is that Republicans are they're taking great steps to take away women's rights to access health care. And that's the big issue at hand. That's kind of at the center of everything. So, she was right. Tabitha was correct that, she is defining things for us, but she's also defining the real issue at hand. And that's what definition really means in this context. The next common topic that Tabitha mentions is comparison. And she says that, Tabitha says that Warren compares the Republican ideology to those of the 1890s and people of the 1950s. And I certainly agree that she does make this comparison to kind of show that, it's 2015 and the Republicans are non-progressive, and they're kind of trying to set us back to the 1950s. So as far as that comparison and that application of comparison of this speech, I completely 100% agree, and I got the same application as well. The other is relationship, and she mentions cause and effect relationship, and Warren does use a cause and effect relationship in her speech. She basically says, hey, defunding of Planned Parenthood is going to kind of set us back as a country for women's rights. But also she kind of defends the poor, and, she says that, you're going to really hurt the people of our country that really need this. And, they need to be able to go to Planned Parenthood because it's affordable, and, it will affect the poor, not only women, but also men as well. So there is a cause and effect. You defund Planned Parenthood, and all these other things will happen, not just, the stopping of abortions. I noticed that testimony was another common topic within the speech that was not mentioned. And under testimony, there is a subtopic called authority. And basically, this just means if you're in a position of power, or, you're a scientist, you have a doctorate, and you have all these letters behind your name, it basically gives you authority behind the subject. And I certainly think that since Elizabeth Warren is a well-known Senate, that she, has experience on the issue, and she kind of has the upper hand. So it's easy for the audience, me watching it, I certainly believed what she was saying, and I certainly trusted what she was saying, even though, it's not like I looked up to see if her what she was saying was true and things like that. But when she talks about statistics and things like that, I didn't look up to see if that was correct. I just kind of trusted because of who she was and her position of power. So that's kind of what authority means. I certainly think that her authority is used to persuade the audience, and it certainly persuaded me. Watching it. And then the other one was statistics. So she does mention statistics in her speech to certainly boost her argument that, if you take Planned Parenthood away and you defund, it's going to affect a lot of people around our country. She says 1 in 5 women have used Planned Parenthood at least one time in their life. She also says that 2.7 million people, not only women, but people, use Planned Parenthood and go to Planned Parenthood for help. And if you defund, you are not just stopping abortions that happen to be legal, so they're completely legal, but you're also kind of setting us back, and you're hurting the people, a lot of people that use their services. So, and that is pretty much all. I certainly enjoyed reading it. I'm so glad I got to read your paper. I certainly took things from the paper, and I hope that from my writing you take a few things away as well. So I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to read it, and I certainly learned something from it too. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.